I wanted to do a movie about, from the guy's point of view. So I started there and basically tried to think about questions that were important to people and what it actually meant to be in a relationship. And that was the jumping off point for the entire movie. That was the question that launched this entire thing. What does it actually mean? Well, I think they're all in different places. Two of them are sort of just want to go about their lives and have fun in New York City. It's a really fun city when you're to be a single guy in. And they're also at a point in their mid-20s where they don't feel like things are sort of worked out. And it's very difficult to be in a relationship when different aspects of your life don't feel like they're together. And I think most people make the mistake of thinking that everything will come together at once. If you get the job you want, you'll have the relationship you want. And the simple fact of the matter is that's not true. So these guys are just comfortable in their lives as they are, hanging out with their friends with very little responsibility and very little sort of emotional connection. I think what's important to them at this stage in their life is their friendship. And like there is a part of your life where you're always hanging out with your friends. And then there's a negotiation that happens between someone that you may fall in love with and the friends that you have this long-term great relationship with and may continue to after these relationships start and end. At some point, there's some ambiguity in terms of what you are and what you're doing. People are hooking up with people, seeing people, then dating people. There's different levels. And at some point, there's a conversation that happens, which is what are we? What are we doing? My take is that often follows the word so. And in the movie, the guys say, when it comes to girls, nothing good ever follows the word so. It's always that relationship conversation. And at the beginning of the movie, these are guys who will say, that's when they get out. That's when they say, oh, I don't want to date somebody. I'm happy with my friends and the whole thing. By the end of the movie, these are guys that may pose that question themselves. I think it was one of the most important parts of the movie was the fact that all of these guys became friends while we were making it. And I know everybody sort of says this about movies, but these guys actually became friends, the three of them especially, and the girls as well. And one of the things that one of the challenges in making a movie independently is that you don't have a ton of rehearsal time. You don't have weeks to put people in rooms and have them sort of gel. So what we did is take the cast away for a weekend up into the Adirondacks where they had no choice but to hang out together. And like it or not, they did it and they all became friends. In support of one of their friends, when Michael B. Jordan essentially gets dumped, these three guys say, and the only way they know how, great, you've come back to us, come back to our world. We go out, we hang out, we don't have any emotional connection. This is the place to be, man, we're telling you. And so they make this pact. And the pact really is there to sort of set the story into motion that like, we may be lying to each other and we're gonna keep these things and we're gonna stay in this moment forever. I think guys are finding it very relatable, and I think to a large degree they're seeing themselves on screen. And I think it's been a long time since I've really seen a movie where there's like there's a certain amount of closeness in sort of earnestness depicted in like male friendships, male relationships. And as strange as that sounds, I think that's why guys are going to like it. Why will they see it? Hopefully they'll see it because they find it funny and think that it's guys avoiding relationships and they say, I'll relate to that. He's one of the more like charming and magnetic screen presences. And I thought it's a guy that when he's on there, he's sort of, when you see him and when you meet him, he would be very difficult to not like. And there's only a few actors, I think, that can pull this off. And if you're going to have a character who's doing pretty awful things, at times you need someone who has like a really, really like abundant amount of charm. And I didn't know Zach, and when I wasn't sure that he was the right person for this part until we actually sat down and I went out with him for a night and we hung out for a few hours and I said, this is actually the guy. And I think that he felt it was very close to who he is in real life. And someone that might do stupid things but is not a bad person. And I think that shows through in his character in the movie. Miles was just a no-brainer. I love his sense of humor. I love his delivery. I love his style. I love the fact that he is absolutely and totally the most prepared person. Michael B. has this unbelievable thing where anything he does on camera or maybe off camera can break your heart. And you see that in everything that he's done so far. And we asked him to sort of be the dramatic anchor of the film. He has the most dramatic storyline. And he's just like he's a guy with an unbelievably big heart, and that shows up on screen. And you immediately understand why two best friends would want to be there to support him. And he also has like hidden comedic chops. That guy he's not just a dramatic actor. I firmly believe that Michael B. Jordan can do anything. She has this sort of really odd timing and unbelievable sort of like sort of comic sensibility, but she also brings like a total connection to a role. And when I met her, I saw this thing about her that there was a girl, as I said earlier, who, if you lost her, you would regret it for a long, long time. She's very easy. She's incredibly easy to get along with, but she just has this thing that draws you in. And the more you spend time with her, and the more that you look at her, and the more that you talk to her, the more you're drawn in. What this movie ultimately boils down to is that relationships are being there for someone when it's difficult, and they need you. And that's it. And that's sort of like the universal theme of the movie, is that, and everyone can relate to that. And there's things that we use to try to get around that or create connections and the whole thing, but that's all that matters. And that's what being in a relationship is. And I think that's my point of view anyways. And that's what I'd like them to take from the movie.